Hey guys, if you've read the title of the video, when I say this is the only test I've ever failed, I like to think that I'm exaggerating, but with a combination of I didn't really have to try in school and I didn't care, I'm actually not sure if this is true. But today we are going to be talking about the Myers-Briggs personality assessment. Now I'm pretty sure if I've talked about this, it was only in my old videos, but I really like psychology, and the new trendy socially acceptable form of psychology right now is the Myers-Briggs personality assessment. I see it all over Twitter, Tinder, Tumblr. Everybody has these 4 letters that are supposed to tell you everything you need to know about their personality. Now, the first time that I took the test, I immediately knew that this was not going to work out for me. There were so many questions that I was caught right down the middle of yes or no. And every single time I took the test, I got a different result. And when I would read the summary that they have, it just never really defined me. Here in a second, I'll actually take the test and show you why, but this isn't the only time that I haven't felt like I quite fit in a box that everybody else seems to inherently know what theirs is. I tend to have a lot of friends that are introverts, and I really like it because we share a lot of interests about, mainly indoorsy things. We can have nice one-on-one conversations. But I always recognize the distinct difference between me and my introvert friends is that I don't feel really good and energized after I spend like a whole weekend by myself. I just crave a lot more social attention than them. So for a really long time, I just always assumed that I was an extrovert. And then it was using apps like Tinder and meeting people that I realized I'm not an extrovert. I don't like going out. I don't like meeting new people. I don't like being the center of attention. Well, it turns out that there's a word for this. So upon watching a video called How to Tell If an Introvert Likes You, I saw a video called Are You an Ambivert? And my first question is, what is an ambivert? Spoiler alert, it's me. I was literally dumbfounded that this video that I just found randomly has 21 facts that identify me to a T. Now, I have a really good friend who is INTP in the Myers-Briggs personality assessment, and he says that his profile fits him like scary good. And he said it was pretty crazy because his category is actually one of the rarer personality types. So, out of curiosity, I just read up on his profile, and yeah, it's him. It was like I was reading a biography about his personality by someone who had known him for a really long time. So since I had just recently found out, that I am an ambivert, I thought, oh, maybe I can take the Myers-Briggs test, and if I just use the consideration that I'm an ambivert and I'm right in the middle, my personality assessment will make sense. But to my dismay, no, it didn't. Now, the last time that I took the personality assessment, I used a website called 16personalities.com, and it turned out to be an excellent resource for what I ended up doing to figure out where I fit in this personality assessment. It goes through and very thoroughly will explain your personality profile, your traits, your friendships, your relationships, your parenting skills, your job skills. Like, it goes through and gives you a really detailed description of what your personality profile is. So whether or not you've taken the test before, I would recommend going to that website and reading up on your profile there. So real quick, I'm actually going to just take the test again and show you what it is that happens. Okay, so this is what the test looks like. You have agree, a disagree, and then a neutral. The test recommends not doing any neutral, and when I personally take the test, there is only one question that I allow myself to answer neutral on to try to get the best results. But I've taken this test 3 times this week and have gotten a different answer every time. So now if we look over what the personality assessment I got today is, we can see that it's given me an ENTP, an ENTPA. If we look for a lot of these things, you'll see is pretty close down the middle, with the exception of the energy, tactics, and assertive. Those are the only ones that I consider are pretty dominant for my personality. So earlier today, I took the test under the pretense of my friend who is an INTP to answer the way that I would think he would answer, and based off of things that he's told me. And so this is what his fake profile looks like, is that you can see it's very dominant on each side. And people who strongly relate to their profiles are going to be very dominant in the areas that they match with. And so on my profile, with ones that kind of go right down the middle, just like how I was explaining with introvert and extrovert, I'm so close that I have traits of both. So how am I supposed to go through this profile and really read an accurate representation of myself? So if you haven't done this yet, go hurry and take the test because I don't want the information that I'm going to tell you to influence you for the kind of personality you may want it to come out as. But diving deeper into what each letter means can help you kind of create a profile that still describes you using the categories. So starting with the mind category, we've kind of already touched on the difference between an introvert and an extrovert. So in the event that you feel like you fall in between the two, you can just identify as an ambivert, which is really easy. You just put an A in that category. For the rest of the categories, I don't have words specifically that mean in between the middle of those two things. So at least for my personality profile, I've just put an X for where I feel I fall in the middle between those two things. So moving on to energy, the difference between intuitive N and observers S can be broken down into those who are innovators, who are visionaries, who like new ideas, whereas those who are observers like to stick with the tried and true method, something that's reliable, you know, the way that things are. It's basically the difference between people who are dreamers and then people who are a little more down to earth. In the next category, we have thinking and feeling, T and F. This one is also actually pretty easy to explain. Basically, it's people who either prioritize logic or prioritize feeling. Someone who is a T is not really gonna sugarcoat things for you, and they're probably not the best person to go to for empathy. They look at problems and solutions. However, someone with an F personality is going to be very concerned about the feelings of others. You know, they want to make sure people are happy and comfortable, and they're somebody who's good to go to if you just want somebody to hear you and not necessarily give you an answer. Now, the last category is tactics. This is how you approach situations, how you would plan out your life. Someone who is a J is somebody who has a to-do list, who wants to make a plan and stick to it and can get upset when things don't go according to plan. Somebody who is a prospecting personality is going to be much more of a free spirit, spontaneous. They don't want to make a plan, they just would rather be flexible rather than sticking to rigidity on ideas or routines. Now, the last category has to do with self-assurity. It's not necessarily low or high self-esteem, but it does have to do with how much you trust your own opinion, your own ideas, your own actions. Somebody who has a turbulent personality is much more to double check their work because there could have been a mistake. Taking all that information and looking back at my profile, it's best described as an ANXP-A personality profile. I am someone who is an ambivert and a visionary and strongly values both feelings and logic and doesn't weigh one over the other, and someone who is flexible and self-assured. I think it's really fun not to just be able to explain your type of personality and the way that you think and feel, but also to understand what each of those letters means. Like I said, the 16 Personalities website has a really in-depth version of each of the profile assessments. So if you feel like you're caught in between two, you can go through each of those personalities, and a lot of what it will do is just, you know, point out your strengths and point out your weaknesses, and it helps you understand yourself better, which helps you understand other people better. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please leave a comment down below on your thoughts on your personality profile, if you feel it matches you, or if you were able to come up with a new way to explain your profile today. Over here, I'm gonna have some other videos that I made that you can go and watch. And if you are interested in supporting me and my channel, you can click here to be notified of the next time that I release a video. Bye. More of a free...